In this video, I'm going to make a potion of invisibility. So I have my potion right here. I'm going to hit the F key, I drink, and then I'm going to turn invisible. And then I can move around. Nobody can see me, but then I'll turn visible again after about 5 seconds or so. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to use the animation from my last video. And if you don't have that, there's no problem. Let's just go over here. I am going to share this game so it's copyable. I'll put this link in the description. Go ahead and click on that link. Go to these three dots, hit edit, and then you're going to have the exact world that I'm going to start out with on the video. All right, so this is the link that opened up, and I'm going to hit play. I'm going to show you something. So I have the animation all set up from my last video, but it's not going to work on your account, and I'm going to show you how to get around that. I'm going to show you how to fix that, I should say. So we got this. Now, when I hit F, I drink. I don't turn invisible, I drink. But you won't be able to do that. You're going to hear the sound, but not the animation. But I left the animation in this dummy right here. So if you go to Plugins, Animation Editor, click on your dummy, now you have the animation, right? So you can modify it if you want, or you can hit these three dots, hit Export, and then you can just go ahead and export it. Hit Submit, boom, that is your animation. So it exports it to your account. You can copy this and then go to the potion, go to the drink animation, and just go ahead and paste that in there. Boom, now you have it. Now it's yours, right? There's other ways of doing it too, but I wanted to show you how to get the animation in case you want to modify it. So let's go ahead and get rid of the animation editor here. And we have our new ID. It's going to look exactly the same for me, but we can continue and make our drink a potion of invisibility rather than just a drink. So let's get another script on our potion. Go to potion right here. It's a tool. Hit the plus sign. And then we have a local script. That's for the drinking. We're going to use a server script. It's just going to say script. That's going to be for the invisibility. Let's go ahead and call this invisibility. That's good. Invisibility is fine. Cool. Now, I want this to talk to I want the drink script to talk to my invisible script, right? So after we're done drinking, we want to turn invisible. What do we need for that? Well, we need a gateway. We need a remote event. So let's go ahead and hit an R, and we have a remote event. Boom. I'm going to keep it here. I'm not going to put it in replicated storage because I want everything to be in my potion, right? So I'm going to call that remote event turn INV RE. So I always append an RE to remote events. So I know what they are in code. You can see a little lightning bolt there. That's a remote event. So now on my can, not on my can, on my drink, that's my local script, I want to talk to that RE. Let's bring up our drink script, right? And then let's get a variable for our remote event. Local turn INV RE script.Parent, and then here it is, turn inv RE, turn invisible RE. Cool. So now here, this is going to get this RE, this remote event, Control C, down after my track has stopped, right? This is the animation track right here. We're going to wait until it's stopped. I'm going to hit the turn invisible RE, colon, I'm going to fire server, right? And that's going to fire a server event. That's all we need there. The player will get passed because it's coming from a client, so it's going to pass in the player through the magic of Roblox. Then we'll know who the player is on this side. Let's go to our invisibility. That's what I mean by this side, our server side. We're going to get that same thing. We're going to get that same remote event, local turn INV RE script equals script, whoops, dot parent dot turn invisible RE. Perfect. Cool. Now I'm going to use a table to get all the parts that I want to turn invisible. I say INV parts. I'm going to put that in this table, and it's going to be local to the script, but global within the script, right? That means I'm going to be able to see it in functions, but I'm not going to be able to see it outside of the script. That's what that local means here, all right? So we'll go ahead and make a function, local function called onTurnInvisible. Invisible is kind of hard to spell. And the player will get passed in. because what I'm doing is I'm catching that turn invisible RE on server event. I'm going to connect to on turn invisible. Get rid of those 2 extra parentheses. We don't want them there. And then the player is going to get passed in. Now that I have my player, I'm going to get the character, right? So local char player.character, or something weird happens and the character is not there yet. We'll do a player.CharacterAdded wait, right? Now we presumably have the character. I'm sure we will. We're going to do inv parts, and we're going to get all of the descendants of the character, including anything that is in the character's hand. And that's why I'm putting it in this table, because if we switch out like a weapon or something as we're turning invisible, our can won't go back to normal. So we need to have everything in that table when we start turning invisible so we can turn it back, right? So I'm going to say char get descendants. And I always spelled descendants wrong. There we go. I think that's right. All right, cool. Now we're going to say for I equals 0 to 1 in steps of 0.05 do. Right, I'll hit enter. This is going to be my transparency. I is going to be my transparency. We're going to start out at 0, which is opaque, no transparency. We're going to go to 1, which is 100% transparent, and we're going to do it in steps of 0.05, which is 5%. All right, so then we'll just wait a split second, like 0.1 seconds. So we're going to actually do a 2-second turn invisible thing, right? Because we have 20 steps we want to go at 0.1 at 1/10 of a second. And I'll do for, I'm going to use this underscore. So it's not I, but underscore and V in pairs. I got my invisible parts table do. And the reason I'm using this underscore is I usually do I and V in pairs. I is just going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't need it. So I'm just going to use an underscore, which tells other programmers, hey, he's not using this. I'm going to use the V. That's the parts. That's the parts that are in my character. But I don't want all the parts. I just want the parts that I can see. So I'm going to say if V is a base part, I want to turn it invisible, but not the humanoid root part. So I'm going to say, and, whoops, I hit my caps lock again. And V name does not equal humanoid root part. Humanoid root part is already invisible, and then if we start out with a 0 opacity, you're going to see this large block pop up and then fade away. We don't want that. It's going to look funny. I learned that by trial and error, right? I didn't know that until I tried it. So now V, we're going to make each part, which is V, transparent. Transparency equals I, right? So that I value is going to go from 0 all the way to 1. So we're going to become more and more and more invisible. Cool. Let's give it a shot from there. Let's see what we got. So we got our little guy. He's going to run around. He's going to get his drink. Here we go. Get the drink. Let's get the output. Go to view output just to see if we have any errors. Hit F. And we're going to turn invisible. Cool. Couple little flaws though, right? So we can kind of see him. He's 5% visible, and we can see his face. All right, let's fix that. Let's go ahead and hit the off or the stop. Now the reason we can kind of see him is this last loop iteration didn't fire because these are whole numbers, not integers, or real numbers, not integers. So we had a little bit of a round off error on I. It was like I, or it was like 1.00000000, like 3 or something. So this last one didn't fire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say go up to 1.001, right? So we can just go up a little bit, and that'll ensure that the 1 will fire. That's going to get my last iteration of the loop. Now down here, face is not a base part, right? So I'm going to say char head, and we have this decal called face of a transparency of eye. Right, now it'll make the face turn invisible. That should work. Let's try it out. Now it should be totally invisible, and you can't see the face too. All right, we'll get our drink. Boom. F. And there we go. Nice. Let's have it wear off, and then we'll go back to being opaque, right? Non-invisible. Let me get rid of this. All right, so at the end here, we are going to turn back. So I'll say on turn visible. And I'm not going to pass the player in. I'm only going to pass the character in because we don't need the whole player. We just need the character. Basically, we need the character for that face right here. All right, so let's go ahead and make that function as an error because we haven't made the function. So I'll say local function on turn visible. Char will be passed in. Let's get this loop right here, and including the head, the face part down to that end. Right click, copy, paste that in there. Now we want to go the other way, right? So this is opaque. We want to go from invisible to visible. We're going to go negative 0.001, so we have the 0 that fires, and then we're going to go down steps of negative 0.05. Right? Looking good. Everything is fine like this. But we want to wait a little bit. We want to be invisible for a little while. Let's go ahead and make a variable. It says time invisible. Invisible. There we go. And we'll just say 5 seconds, right? You can change that to whatever you want. That's why I put that here, so it's easy to change. You don't have to look around for it. Right? You might come back a month later and be like, oh man, what number do I change? So I just do a wait, and then I'm gonna do my time invisible, and let's check it out. We're all done. We should be good to go. All right, so we have one more thing we want to do. Let's go ahead when we're done all of this, right? When on turn invisible fires, let's just tell the client we're done. Let's go ahead and do a turn invisible RE fire client now, right? And then pass the player back. That way we can do our debounce. So that is going to come over here to the local script. Let's get our turn invisible RE, and then we'll do on client event connect function. I'm just going to get this debounce right here. The isFinished is going to finish when we turn visible again. Now we're good. Let's go ahead and try it. There's our drink. Get it? Let's look at the output window so that we see if we have any errors. There we go, down here. We're going to drink, hit F. Whoops, hit F. There we go. And we fade away. All right. And we're invisible for a while. And you could change that time, right? There we go. Now we're good. So if we hit F and we spam it, it's not going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen. It's not going to happen until we won't be able to drink again until we turn fully visible. So as soon as you start seeing me, I'm spamming it, but it didn't drink. There we go. Now we can drink because the remote event said we can drink again. We were not finished, or we were finished. Cool. So hopefully that isn't too hard, and good luck with this video, and I will see you in the next.